Hey everybody. Last night I made a video about the graphics card in this computer. The fan on this 3.5-month-old graphics card decided to lock up last night. Well, actually, that's when I noticed it locked up. There's no telling how long it's actually been locked up. So, after I finished making a video, I put the side panel on and I shut the computer down because I didn't want to keep running it like it was. So, anyways, now I'll go ahead and get this fixed. So I'm going to take the graphics card out and we'll have a look at what's going on. Okay, here's a graphics card, and it's funny to note, this thing is locked up extremely tight. I mean, it locked up pretty good. Normally when it comes to sleeve bearing fans, you'll hear a bunch of rattling and a bunch of noises before they'll actually do this, but this one just skipped all that and it's locked straight up. I never heard any noises from this fan or anything. It just locked up. So let's go ahead and see how we can get this thing off here. Take this cover off. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and take this fan off. Go ahead and unscrew the fan from the heatsink. Let's go ahead and look at this cheap fan. It's actually a Cooler Master. So this is a Cooler Master fan, and this thing actually locked up in no time flat. I thought Cooler Master was supposed to be more quality than this. I mean, wouldn't you think so? The fan operates on 12 volts, so that's a good thing. That way, if this fan's totally craps out, I can stick in an old CPU fan wired in to the graphics card. And still, that's ridiculous. It's locked up pretty tight too. So, here's how I usually fix a problem. Most fans would allow you to oil them, but apparently this one doesn't. So it looks like we're going to be replacing this fan rather than repairing it, because Cooler Master really thought that their fan was going to be so perfect it wasn't ever going to need to be repaired, so they didn't allow access to the bearing back here. That's pretty typical nowadays. I think a lot of the fan manufacturers are starting to do that, except because they've figured out that many people can just pull the stopper off and oil the fan and keep using the fan. Well, hey, if we don't allow access to that bearing, they just have to buy a new fan from us. That's usually how they think anyway. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and find another fan of the same size to stick on this heatsink. Okay, so here's basically what I'm going to be doing. This fan here was originally a CPU cooler fan for an AMD Athlon XP CPU, and as you noted earlier, this graphics card supplies 12 volts power to the cooling fan. And some of the older graphics cards probably supplied 5 volts to their fans, but this one supplies 12. This fan's rated for 0.2 amps. This one's rated for 0.17. So they're really close similar. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to wire this fan up to the connector that plugs into the graphics card. And then I'm going to cut this out and glue it into the heatsink. Okay, here's an example of how the fan will look once I get it fully installed. I gotta go ahead and glue it in and wire it up. Okay, here's how everything looks back together. No more locked up fan. Everything wired up, and I also wired up a sense plug so I can plug this in the motherboard and monitor the fan speed. That's a matter of reinstalling the graphics card. Anyways, any questions or comments, feel free to ask.